Hey, guys out there. Welcome back to the next episode for whatever it is that's going on inside my mind today. I have no idea. But while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and just take us inside my office, which is a little office I made here in my own personal world here on Fortnite. So if you guys want to, or you guys are in the neighborhood, feel free to come by and check it out. It's a nice little sub area of Iacon City that I sat here, made myself. Made my own image on how I wanted my office to look like if I had one. So that way I can have the whole imagery of business and a sense of independency and a visual representation of me and something that can tell you about me. Let me know how I did. Let's go ahead and let's sit at the main chair and let's get started, right? So, Iacon 13. This is going to be the next big chapter Iacon that's going to be written here for the Iacon Battle Circuit. And here at Tac City. I mean, it also means something to the Dragon Ball FighterZ community since this is also correlating to it specifically. 13 is probably going to be coming up sooner than I really want it to, because we're at number 10, getting ready to go to number 11. So I got a pretty good chunk of time still ahead of me before I decide on how I really want to do that one. Iacon's been trucking along to be a set pillar here on PC like it was for PlayStation. It's been a good year or so now. It's what I want personally, because if I go to do something and commit, it needs to be big or I don't do it at all. And that goes with wherever it is I go with my brand in order for it to stand out and be a part of that game's bloodstream if I do it enough. I don't aim for it to be a big, notable thing like it's the best of all time to said thing, unless it's my main game. But I try to have it be around long enough to have an impression or an imprint to the community's life stream. When it comes to Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's a main game for me as a competitor and as a tournament organizer, but it's still not there yet because it's not the first thing that comes to mind in modern day that people should be thinking about for the community's sake. At some point, me being around all the time became inconsistent because life shit happens, and I had to take care of my own health. And that shouldn't matter much from years of contribution to the lane. Not even to Iacon, but to numerous other hosts that have come and gone whom are just as vital to the scene's prosperity. But guess what? It does matter when you're not important or thought of as a priority like that to the scene. Just thought of as a last resort, which is proven by a lot of the former people that I had in my close circle and whatnot. They just thought of me as a last second person and not someone that they consider a priority, or someone that you come to initially, or someone you think when they're around a lot of the time. And so I don't need to be taken for granted by a whole lot of inconsiderate ass fuckholes. That was one thing I did that was correct in terms of just restructure my scene from the ground up and then kicking everybody out of my scene that didn't give a fuck about me, only gave a fuck about Iacon or whenever the next Iacon is. I don't need those fuckers in my scene paying attention to me, leeching off my shit. The ones that are left are the ones I do care to service because they care about my prosperity along with the prosperity of the scene that I created here, and why it's difficult to juggle the two, why it's important for me to have a team so it's easier to manage my time between the two, even though that will still continue to pivot. And it allows me to also contextually have more time for thoughts like these to think on when I do big events or when I need to do big Iacons, how do I want to go about doing them properly in order to try to have each one trail into the next one. And again, like for this one, I didn't think it would matter in order to keep doing these things, and I just do them at my own pace or whatever it is I care to put up, because it comes out of my pocket at the end of the day. Despite how much I keep having a Matcherino, it just comes out of my pocket, so I just have to hold that shit. But I wanted it to be easier to keep doing these for so long, but it just got harder to just keep doing them. And I just became constantly salty about wanting to house them because I can't get the payoff from them, which is to try and have matches with people that come to my tournaments so that way I can be stronger and just be the best, and I can win my events or win events that I go to, so that way it's easier for me to have more prosperous clout revenue in my favor. That also helps my scene that I have here between PlayStation and PC both. But I mean, when you're dealing with the selfish, I mean, you got to just take it as it will. And back to what I'm saying here, the level of importance I would like to think could help in terms of building another big idea. To me, if it's divided between being a known place for some time and an afterthought to the many others, then the latter doesn't really care enough to give it a nod. Like, you can just come here for good competition or a good time. And obviously a piece of me feels like I failed to bring the potential out of my branding. Or maybe it's just me and people just don't really like dealing with me. And I probably understand that after a while, because it's me. You want to deal with the brand and not the person. Me personally, I already felt I was the best TO, in my personal opinion, to the online's realm, ever shifting standards for years, as a base example at the very least, till I chose to step aside for my own sake and interests, not theirs. And so that was returned with nothing in revenue or support or value. That would be like, okay, now that I'm gone, it would be a lot easier for people to want to support this scene, because this was something that was an anchor point for PlayStation. This is like when I was just doing this for years. The revenue process was okay. It was never great or amazing. It was just good and okay until it just up and wasn't, because people just went and supported other scenes that were lesser known, like Suna Notes or Vapors at the time, or Dead Zone Circuit before Dead Zone Circuit was a big name, or Kel's Kitchen and the California Cup, and probably a couple of the names I'm not thinking of at this time because they're not around anymore. And it just became a who's whom of the VIP lounge, unless it was unseen by the few who deem it their VIP. And so what I have to do in these instances is I have to try to keep changing people's minds to pay attention, or at least be openly appreciative of what Iacon's trying to do and has been doing for so many years, alongside everybody else that just seems to go unnoticed, or it still stays an afterthought of something. I would like it to still be a part of the prime dinner table conversation of what makes Dragon Ball fighters of modern day, you know? And so I've been studying Bum's old City of Mayhem statistics of his Matcherino to get an idea of how stable his percentage ratio is from the last, let's say, the last 10 City of Mayhems that he chose to pull up on before stopping the online City of Mayhems at H.O.C, House of Chaos. I'm not going to copy his motives exactly, because fuck him. So what I want to do is just do this my own way and in my own print, so people will know it's Rodimus Prime's work and it's not to be compared to anybody else's. Like, when it came to the last pot that just came up, I was trying to eye his last offline that happened, the TSL 143. That was the biggest one that he had for a turnout here in, I think, 4 or 5 months since he stopped and the lens was finally desanitized. But I didn't get a chance to see in context what the general Matcherino for that was. If I remember correctly, I think Faulty Things had it sent me something here. I got to see if I can ask Scamby. But if I remember correctly, it's peaked somewhere around $100 or $200 for like that program. In terms of what I was able to dig up of base City of Mayhem structures under Bum's name on Matcherino with my general Matcherino filing, his highest value pot was approximately $200 to $300 for an average City of Mayhem program, also including people donating and supporting and sharing all that beautiful stupid shit. Let me see here. King Lord Beerus's last tournament, that was for the Blazing Weekly that just passed up with that big pinnacle thing. From what I see here on the billing, this was about a good $500 to $600. Okay, that's one. Or two, rather. And then for me, my highest billings on record, collab and not collab. So there was the PCF and the IBC City Story. That was the collab with Running Hands. That was $250. There's the Iacon 25, the War of 25 for Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. That was my own. That was the Pinnacle. That was $151. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. That was TOKON. That was a $60 top 3 payout of the $250 prize pot total that I housed to the mini major. For Tekken, it was $50, and then that grew to $80, also out of the top 3 program to the general $250 total pot for that at the time. That was TOKON. That was the collab I had with Genji G last year. Melty Blood, there was the Red Garden. That was $50 on a top 3 payout. For Guilty Gear Strive, that was Iacon number 23 here. That housed a $65 Matcherino. That's the most of any Iacon for Guilty Gear. And then for Dragon Ball Fighters, it's between the Pro Legends 6v6 exhibition. That was $100 out of my pocket in order to pay the players, or basically pay my teammates at the time, for the 6v6 construct. It was Iacon 47. That was $153 prize pool for that Matcherino leading up to Iacon 50. Because Iacon 50, I think, only had... I gotta go back and find it. Then there's the Pro Legends 16-man Invitational. That was a $300 total, but me and Pro Legends went half and half, so that's another $150. Because he didn't want to pay for it all himself to this like particular top level assessment, like the Injustice 2 Pro Legends event special. So I went half and half on this one in order to prove I can put up for the community. So that was $150 then. That was $150 for Iacon 47. I gotta find the one for Iacon 50, because Iacon 50 was the last actual structured pinnacle for console before console's complications. And then Master Duel was Gods Among Pharaohs. That was a $70 program. It started out as nothing, and then people were donating as that happened. That was a collab with Head Hotep and was it Maz Miles from a couple years back, to have something for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel before Master Duel became more contemporary Wild Wild West. Then there's the commentator aspect. So to level that up, I'm going to need to reserve good quality commentators, and that's been a recurring issue ever since number 13 for PS4. And it's just happened because of scheduling or miscommunications or both. Like, even in trying to pay to get people to pull up, it's just constant complications. Almost feels like my money's not good enough for these fuckers. Like, that's exactly my problem with it, is because it's me. Like, if I'm commentating as a last resort, regardless of there being a lot of money on the line, then it's just another Iacon with money riding on it, and that's average in my opinion. There's nothing different about it from the latter that's come from me, because it's expected at that point. It's like, only I can do this shit. Nobody else wants to be a part of it unless they're getting paid by me. And trust me, I've reached out to many a commentator for gigs. Veterans and novices, all the same. Game is game. As long as you respect my platform and honing your craft, and you're as good as you believe yourself to be, or as you could be. Like, I've had looks at Chris Matrix, or Acoustics, or Posey, or Joe Rod, or Lapis, or Neo Judai, or Spaunchy, or Danny God for Real, or Jay Moore, or even Jeremy Vicious FGC. He's a host and commentator for Street Fighter 6 and whatnot, but he's also versatile with his craft. Or Prometheus Prime, a homie from the Dragon Ball scene that I know that follows me. I met him in something that Khalil was doing. I can't remember what it is. It was either around Wumpas or probably through the Wumpa territory. And then there was Static, who is also a player for Tekken and is also a former Marvel and fighters guys. So this is like right up his alley that I could apply him, staticky guy, or Serene, whatever it is that they want to call themselves. Like when I say I had plans, fucker, I had fucking plans for Iacon in order to make it factually the most electrifying online event on this fucking game. You don't go to anybody else, you just come right to me. And I wanted to try and have people that contextually speaking know the game. That way, because if they're playing the game, they're understanding the game, which makes for better commentary. All of the favorite commentators have gone through this, and I didn't want to just hire any random moron or schmuck that respectfully I can just put behind the mic and it fills in time because it's a good joke, as opposed to giving good commentary to factually what you're seeing right now. Because there have been too many commentators that miss a lot of really good points or insane nuances and adaptations in game because they're too busy trying to either force jokes or do impressions and telling random stories instead of working in that story or pivot into the angle of what's on screen for the viewers. Or you can do some Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing where you got one dude that can tell jokes and can be the relief or comic relief person, and another person that is the techie or the nerd that kind of tells you the tech on why ABC happened to them and not to me.
Hang on, this just in. Because someone is tagging me over here in Bum Server, House of Chaos. It's the official Discord for House of Chaos junk. I'm trying to see if I can find it now. Because someone just tagged me over here in Bum's recent announcement, so I gotta make sure I can stay on top of my eagle-eyeing. That way I can stay one step ahead of the competition. Hang on 1 second, I'm gonna pull it up on my feed.
Yo, H.O.C, what's good, what's good? Right now I'm about to go get me some food, start Marvel Rivals in a little bit, and then Vinland Saga later on after that. So I wanted to talk about a few things. One, just to update y'all, we are in talks with OS, so I'm waiting for them to respond. We most likely, I would say like 98%, 99% are not going to do anything for the summer. I think the best thing to do is to wait for 2XKO, and in hopes that 2XKO is actually solid, both for the online version of the game and offline. And when I start off with 2XKO, I'm going to start off with the offline version of it and see how I feel about the game. And if it's good, then I might venture into the online aspect or portion of the game. It's all depending, but I just wanted to update you guys on that. Obviously, it'll be done more in the house, if anything, when it comes to the offline events. And then whenever we host at OS, I plan to be at OS more consistently. I would say the middle of fall or the start of winter. Besides that, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm about to go get this food and then pretty much start up the stream. Fucking starving, and it is fucking hot out here.
So Marvel, TOKON, and 2XKO. So he's looking at a specific part of the tag pool, not the general genes he already has delved into in the tag pool. So I can, in a sense, have my time to make the impact I need, but the problem is that I also need money with this, and I need to get the early awareness, both of which I don't have fully right now. And on top of that, I need to stay out. This is what I hate about this shit, because I need this. This also conflicts with my training, and I can't get good. I can't get better to win this fucking tournament at a time like this in order to bring everything up around here for the revenue if I got to focus also on this, because this bastard's trying to take shit later on down the line and setting up all his eggs in one basket, and people are just letting him. They're not trying to bid for theirs right now. I don't think That's even if City of Mayhem is going to be an online thing for fighters again, and which at this point I don't think it will be. Which in theory, I don't have anything to worry about. It's just the fact of his influence that gives me something to worry about. Iacon 13 is still a ways away, and that gives me enough time in theory to work on my commissions, to also do my coaching and my teaching, to also do my I guess commission work. If people actually spread the work of whatever it is I do, so that way I can actually get money from people instead of just trying to do free labor. And then the TO work from people that actually pay me for my dues. It's probably like 50, collectively 80 generally, if I'm lucky. And then depending upon the right TO, if I'm doing this with Mortal Kombat and or Street Fighter 6 again, that's probably another $40, $60, $40, $50. So that could probably be $100. And then looking back at my past files here, so I'm looking at the past several things of patterns for my Iacons collaboratively and singularly speaking. So I'm looking at probably a $200 or $300 Iacon for number 13 that sets the standard that can potentially match Bum directly. I'm looking at probably $200, $300. Shit. I can do it. But damn, that's gonna be a lot. I gotta figure out how I can write that out and get my planning done way in advance now, so I already have an idea of that game plan when the time comes. I don't have it all set in stone right now. These are all concepts and whatnots that are all scattered around the Discord and my notes on my desk, but I'm going to get this going here. I'm going to put that out there at some point or another. I'm going to make that statement, and I'm going to get the program to achieve greatness, and have that pillar, that pinnacle, be a defining factor of modern day DBFZ that can also come from me with enough investment with a grassroots mentality, and having built up the scene from not investing money in it this far. Well, hypocrisy, but having not solely invested in Iacons with money, but investing in them with merit and my commissions claims. That way they can build into these structural edifices that may eventually house money on it if enough support comes in, which I would like to think maybe it could. I don't know. But let's see where this goes, and just pray with me that we can get this done. And I just hope I know what the hell I'm doing. I'll keep you posted on whenever it is all that comes into alignment or comes into view. I don't think I'm going to do anything really out the way in terms of like a promo trailer or something for it, because that also takes, if I'm not doing it myself, that takes money, which I'm already going to be running short on. That takes commentary work, which I'm still going to have to see how I can find that. That's going to be a whole hoop and a half jump in order to find some fucker that I can trust that has that type of credibility at that level to presentably be here for Iacon Battle Circuit and to meet my needs and to share my vision. Money, 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 money. Oh my gosh. All right. Just pray, Tack, pray, please, just pray. I know what the hell I'm doing. Hey, welcome in, it's Rodimus here. At the time of trying to make this thing here, there is already a Matcherino that I was able to go on ahead and productively create for this. So I don't know how far down the line this is going to be. It might be a 2025 thing, it might be a 2026 thing. I don't know yet, I haven't figured it out yet. But there is a Matcherino link down below in the comment section, and probably the description of the video if YouTube didn't already do some weird shit with it. But there is a link for this already created. So if you guys want to donate to the cause for Iacon 13 on PC, or pass it off to people that are interested and highly interested in order to contribute to this, by all means, please do so. I encourage it. And please share. And, also please share, because I can't stress it enough how expensive I know this is going to be, and I don't want to do this, but I also want to make sure that I have something in order to house the claim that I want that Iacon to have in comparison to the other Iacons still. There hasn't been an Iacon with money on it in a while for Dragon Ball FighterZ, especially one of such magnitude. And while I don't want to pay for the whole thing myself, I know that's probably what's going to happen, so I just have to just be ready. And then gamble wisely and responsibly. If it doesn't work, may or may not be ruined. If it does work, cool. And I guess it'll be another day where people can support Iacon, or can hopefully, support me, the founder of Iacon, and can help do these things more regularly without it being such a massive burden on my return or on my pockets to where I can't stream or do any of these things like that anymore. But thanks. Share, love, weigh in, like, subscribe, comment. Let's prosper. Till all are one.